Good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday Mull for Thursday, the 7th of October. Robert Murray McShane has us reading Psalm 90 today as one of the passages, which is a prayer of Moses, where in the midst of adversity, he seeks the favor of God. But his perspective is always one of the wonder of God. And he says in verse 3, "You turn people back to dust, saying, 'Return to dust, O mortals, for 1,000 years in your sight is like a day that has just gone by, or like a watch in the night.'" And as I read that, I thought we would do well to remember who we are and to have a good perspective, because we so easily get caught up in our life and what's going on and our achievements and what we've accumulated and what we're doing and the kind of impacts that we have or don't have. And that's the measure of humanity. And people will compare. That person lived this many years, that person lived that many years. They had this much, they had slightly less. We measure ourselves in such arbitrary ways that it's really good to stop and say, we're dust. That's it. Everything we have and everything we do and all that we invest our energy in, and even the grandest and most spectacular of people, right down to the most insignificant individual, everybody turns back to dust. And as you read through the scriptures, you read of these great empires and the conflicts they had, and they're all dust. And it always strikes me when you go to visit old towns and cities and you go and you look at a graveyard, and they're people that died centuries ago. And you think, that is our future. Remember, oh, people, that you are dust. Dust you are, and to dust you shall return, as we say in the funeral service. And so that really puts a perspective on all these things that we think are so important. We've got to say, it all turns to dust. So what is important then? God and our relationship with God is, because that's all that we have as we step beyond the grave. And this is a God who is completely different. 1,000 years in your sight is like a day, or like a watch gone by in the night, like a few hours. God is that different to us, that much beyond us. And from a perspective of eternity, a lifetime of 70 or 80 years is nothing. As Newton says, when we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no less days to sing God's praise than when we'd just begun. 10,000 years in heaven won't have decreased our time in God's presence at all. And so we hold this, our mortality and what eternity is, and we try and hold it in some kind of a presence in our mind. And as we do that, it shapes our life, and it gives us a different value system. It will hopefully make us value more what God values and count as important those things that God counts as important. And we'll let the scripture shape us, and we'll say that will be our life. So be challenged to think, to reflect, and to put your hope on God, who alone is immortal, and he is our hope. Be blessed.